Things feel different lately, don't they? Not in a loud, dramatic, obvious way, but in a quieter way, a subtler way, a way that's harder to explain and easier to feel. Things that once made sense don't anymore. Conversations feel heavier, even when nothing serious is being said. Silence feels louder than words ever did. Your body feels exhausted, yet your mind refuses to rest. You lie down tired, but your thoughts stay awake, circling something you can't quite name. You wake up with a strange pressure in your chest. Not pain, not fear, just a feeling. Like something is coming. Like something is shifting beneath the surface of your life. You try to explain it to people, but the words never come out right. So eventually you stop trying. You smile, you say you're fine, but you're not fine. You're suspended between two entirely different realities. And that's exactly why everything feels off. You're standing at the edge of something life-changing, and your nervous system knows it before your mind does. When a soul is about to cross into a new chapter, the old one doesn't end cleanly. It dissolves first, slowly, unevenly, painfully. What once felt familiar starts losing its grip. What once felt safe starts feeling tight. The future hasn't arrived yet, and the past no longer fits. So you're left in the in-between, wondering if you're losing your way. But you're not losing it, you're shedding it. This season you're in isn't loud. It's quiet. It's isolating. It's the kind of season where people drift away without explanation, where plans fall apart at the last minute, where doors don't slam shut. They just quietly stop opening. You keep asking yourself what you did wrong. You replay conversations. You overanalyze moments. You search for meaning in every small shift. But the truth is, this isn't punishment. This is sacred preparation. Before anything real changes, the universe destabilizes what can't come with you. That off feeling isn't random. It's your inner world recalibrating. Your values are shifting. Your tolerance is lowering. Your spirit is rejecting environments, habits, and connections that once fit, but now suffocate you. And because you've never been here before, it feels like confusion. But confusion is often clarity in its earliest form. There's a specific kind of loneliness that comes with this phase. Not the loneliness of being alone, but the loneliness of being unseen. You can be surrounded by people and still feel miles away from them. You want to explain what's happening inside you, but you don't even fully understand it yourself. So you carry it quietly, in your chest, in the long pauses between breaths, in the silence of late nights. This is what the dark night of the soul actually looks like. Not dramatic collapse, not chaos, but subtle disorientation, the slow undoing of an identity that no longer matches your frequency. God and the universe don't transform lives gently. They transform them honestly, and honesty requires stripping away what's false, what's forced, what's familiar but limiting. When something big is coming, comfort becomes unstable, routine becomes irritating, old versions of yourself start feeling heavy to carry. So the universe applies pressure, not to break you, but to loosen your grip. Right now, you're being asked to let go without seeing what's next. And that's why it hurts. You're not losing things because you failed. You're losing them because they can't survive where you're headed. Some connections were only meant to carry you this far. Some dreams were placeholders until you were strong enough to hold something truer. Some versions of you existed only to bring you to this exact edge. And here's the part no one tells you. The moment before a breakthrough often feels like grief. Because even when growth is good, loss is still loss. Even when alignment is right, release still aches. You're allowed to mourn what's ending, even if it was never meant to last. But listen closely now. If everything feels off, it's because everything is being moved, realigned, repositioned. The universe doesn't rearrange your life unless it's making room. And it never clears space without the intention to fill it with something greater than what was there before. This discomfort isn't random suffering. It's sacred recalibration. Think about how often you've quietly prayed for change, how many times you asked for peace, for clarity, for relief. How often you said, I can't keep living like this. Those prayers don't get answered with comfort first. They get answered with truth. And truth disrupts before it heals. Right now, you're being pulled away from timelines that would have drained you, You're being protected from futures that looked good on the surface, but would have cost you your soul. The universe is intervening in ways you won't fully understand yet. But one day you'll look back at this season with tears in your eyes and gratitude in your chest. You haven't fallen behind, even if it feels like everyone else is moving faster. Even if it feels like life is passing you by while you're standing still. You haven't missed your moment. You haven't lost your chance. You're being slowed down on purpose. There is an intelligence to this pause that your mind doesn't fully understand yet. A wisdom operating beneath the surface of your life, quietly rearranging things while you wonder why nothing seems to be happening. There is a kind of silence that comes before life changes forever. Not an empty silence, not a dead one, but a pregnant stillness, the kind where nothing moves on the outside, yet everything is shifting underneath. That's where you are right now, in that strange space where the noise has faded, but clarity hasn't arrived yet, where the old momentum has stopped, but the new direction hasn't revealed itself. In the pause before momentum, in the breath before expansion, it can feel unsettling to be here, because you're no longer distracted, you're no longer numb. You can feel everything more clearly now. The uncertainty, the longing, the quiet knowing that something is ending, even if you can't name what's beginning. This is the moment right before the old reality collapses completely, so the new one can finally take shape. Yes, it's uncomfortable, because growth doesn't feel gentle while it's happening. Growth stretches parts of you that have never been stretched before. It asks more honesty from you than you're used to giving, more courage, more patience, more trust in the unseen. What's coming next requires a version of you that no longer shrinks to be accepted, a version of you that can stand in truth without apologizing for existing, a version of you that can receive blessings without guilt, love without fear, success without self-sabotage, and you're being shaped into that version now. That's why things are falling away. That's why people don't feel the same anymore. That's why conversations feel shallow, routines feel suffocating, and goals that once excited you now feel strangely empty. The universe is separating you from what no longer aligns, not as punishment, but as protection. You're being disconnected from things you used to chase because they no longer match who you're becoming. You're being pulled away from paths that once felt right, but would have kept you small. You're being redirected from timelines that look safe, but would have drained your spirit slowly. And this redirection doesn't come with loud announcements. It comes quietly, through loss of interest, through discomfort, through a deep inner resistance to going back to the way things were. That's why your intuition feels louder now. That's why your tolerance for surface-level living is gone. You can't unsee what you've seen. You can't unknow what you now know. You crave depth, truth, meaning. You crave a life that feels real, not just familiar. You're being initiated into a deeper life. And initiation is rarely comfortable. Initiation feels like confusion before clarity, pressure before peace, disorientation before alignment. Soon, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon clarity will replace confusion. The mental fog will lift. The constant questioning will quiet down. The pieces that feel scattered right now will start to arrange themselves in ways that feel almost miraculous. Peace will replace pressure, not the kind of peace that comes from everything going your way, but the kind that comes from finally trusting yourself, from knowing you're exactly where you need to be. One day, you'll look back at this season and realize how precisely everything was orchestrated, how the delays saved you, how the endings protected you, how the silence prepared you. You'll realize this off season, the one that made you question yourself, your timing, your worth, was actually the turning point. This is not the end. It only feels like one because something familiar is dissolving. This is the edge of a life that feels lighter, because you're no longer carrying what isn't yours. The edge of alignment, where effort starts to feel cleaner and choices feel clearer. The edge of becoming who you were always meant to be, without apology, without explanation, without shrinking. Standing at the edge can feel terrifying, because there's no map for what comes next, Because you're being asked to trust before you see proof. Because the familiar is behind you and the unknown is in front of you. So stay. Stay with the discomfort. Stay with the uncertainty. Stay with yourself. Breathe. Don't run back to what's familiar just because it's quiet there. Familiar doesn't always mean safe. Sometimes it just means you've learned how to survive it. You didn't come this far to retreat into an old version of your life. You didn't break cycles, outgrow spaces, and question everything, just to go back because the unknown scared you. You're closer than you think. Now before you go, anchor this moment. Don't rush past it. Don't numb it. Don't scroll it away. Claim it. Write this in the comments as your declaration, not for the algorithm, but for yourself. I surrender to what's unfolding for me, not because you're giving up, but because you're done forcing, done resisting, done trying to control what needs to transform. And if you know someone who feels lost right now, someone who feels disconnected, out of place, or like their life no longer fits the way it used to, share this with them, because somewhere out there, someone is lying awake at night with a heavy chest and racing thoughts, wondering if they're falling apart, wondering if something is wrong with them. Let this be the reminder they need. They're not breaking. They're not failing. They're not behind. They're becoming, just like you.